Nanny Bubby is going to switch her apron to the other side. That was something I used to be able to do before we started the show, but Facebook changed their algorithm. There we go. It's time for dinner with Nanny Bubby. How are you, everybody? So good to see you. Soon all of you will be finding me. I am doing a sneak peek on tomorrow's KLAS show. So I'm sure you know this, but if you're cooking live on TV, you literally need to cook 2 or 3 the same dish in different stages. Let's see who is the first person here. I think I'm going to start giving awards out for the first people that show up. Let me see who they are. Let me see who you are. Who's here? Somebody, let me peek. It is not showing me who's here. So at some point, I'm sure whoever it is saying it's me, but I can't see it yet. I look to see who it is and I can't. Anyway, I have to cook the same dish 2 or 3 different times in order to show the stages, the beginning stage, the middle stage, and the end stage. And so tomorrow I am taking our recipe, which we did just a little bit ago, last week, which was the roasted vegetables, which I have right here behind me, which I just roasted. And we're going to add them to a penne pasta that we cook al dente. So with that, let's get started. So we're going to bring this back to a boil. I had started it before all of you got here. So as you are all coming in and finding me, we're going to take this 9x13 dish right here, and we're going to butter it so that when we put pasta and everything into the dish, it won't stick. So let's start with that while we're waiting for this to come to a boil. We're going to cook this al dente. Here we go. Here's butter. We're going to cook this al dente, which is great, and because when you bake it, you don't want your pasta to get real mushy and soft. So you have to allow some extra firmness to your pasta. So I just take fresh out of the refrigerator. You don't want this to be too soft. And we're just gonna roll it along the sides here, and then along the bottom, as you can see, right? Go. Okay. And almost done, just turning it around. And then we'll let it get a little bit of room temperature, because as we bake this, we're going to bake it with butter on top, because the butter on top just adds a brownness and a crispness to the top of the pasta, along with Parmesan cheese, which is going to be the last thing that we're going to put in. So there we go. We have greased the 9x13 pan. This is a stoneware, enamel-coated stoneware, which I absolutely love to bake in. So there we go. Arlene is here. Hey, Arlene. Thanks for joining us. Let's see who else is here. Facebook shows me people are here, but does not always show me who they are. So I'm always saying, please type a 1, type a wave. Frank is really good at that. Frank always types a wave so that I can see who is here. So that's good. So if you remember, Cheryl Ness and her husband, Chef Vincenzo, said that definitely salt your pasta water, and you want to salt it. Let's see who else is here. Just Arlene is all that's showing me. Arlene says hi. There's a whole bunch of you here, but it's not showing me who yet. So you have to type something. Thumbs up, a 1, a wave, a kiss, something. I'll kiss you back. They said to salt the water so that it tastes like the sea. But don't do that until it comes to a boil. And when I asked why, here's the answer. And this answer was good enough for me. Because that's the way Chef Vincenzo's mother did it, and that is the way her mother did it, and that's the way her mother before her did it. And so as a result of that, that is what they say is absolutely best. Isn't that how most of this cooking stuff is passed down from generation to generation? So, also, if you just push the thumbs up for the like, and hey Judy Woods, there you are, or hearts, those little things that kind of float up, it does not tell me who is hitting those. I just know that they're there, but it doesn't identify who you are, and there are many of you who just joined me. So always referring back, Judy Woods, to Cheryl Ness and Chef Vincenzo. Just love, those are some of, I think, my favorite shows. So if you're joining our contest, I will read you the contest rules, which is you have to post in Gather your favorite recipe, tip, or interview that we did in the last year from October 22nd forward until right now, today. Hey Roseanne, there you are. And see, like Roseanne just says hi, and Arlene says hello, good afternoon, just something so I can say hello back to you. And you get 1 entry for just writing something. You get 2 entries if you post a picture, something that you made, some tip that you actually used, and maybe a screenshot of your favorite interview. And that will get you entered in this week's contest. And also, it will enter you to win one of the great olive oil. At the end, next week, I will pick someone that I'm going to give one of these to, because I think these are absolutely fabulous. I know tons of you were ordering these yesterday, which I don't blame you. The minute I saw that, I said, oh, I love that. And the person said, here, take it. So it was a good friend. So, all right, let's open up this bag of pasta. Let's get this off to a boil. And I want to show you just really quickly the vegetables that I use to roast with. You know, you can take roasted vegetables, which was something that I did last Friday on Channel 8. You can put variations in. You can use garlic, not use garlic. You can put mushrooms in, leave them out the next time. Use what's left in your refrigerator that might be going bad. Arlene said, I liked when you taught me to make stuffed peppers. Okay, I love that. Well, find that recipe or make that recipe. Hey, Susie. Or make that recipe and then post it in Gather, and that way you'll be able to enter the contest. I'm going to put this top on really quickly if I can find where that top is. Here it is. Because I have found that putting a top on will actually bring something to a boil faster. So let's do that. Roseanne said, be sure to include a narrative about your entry. Yes, you can't just post a picture. You have to write something along with it. And that's definitely one of the rules. You have to take the time and the energy to actually write and tell us all why you love the recipe, and or what it meant to you, or what you learned, or how much you enjoyed it, and all of that. So that's good. So I'm going to show you the vegetables. I roasted these same vegetables last week on Channel 8. I'm going to be roasting them again tomorrow for Channel 8 segment, because last week all I did was taught Rocky how to make roasted vegetables, and how to cut them, which I think I'm going to make her cut one more time, because I think she needs a little work. After being in that studio with her, I don't think she is used to using a knife, and I really do want to help her become a little more comfortable, so I think I'm going to start there tomorrow. But these are the same vegetables that we used last week on Channel 8. These vegetables I added the mushrooms to this time, because I like mushrooms in pasta. Hey Susie, said hi to you. So that's the difference in these. Also, I used a red onion last time, but I had a white onion that I needed to use. So there is a white onion in this, sweet onion though, and there was red onion in the one from last week. So what we're going to do is we are going to just take this pasta, or these vegetables, and I'm going to put them into this huge mixing bowl. And I'm telling you, this mixing bowl, I think, was passed down from my great-grandmother, who, when she moved in with my grandparents from Chicago, actually brought this bowl with her. So she used it to mix things that she made. Hi there, Layla. Things, old Jewish foods, what we call knedela. You know, she needed big mixing bowls to put all of her flour in and to knead that dough. I'm sure she made matzo balls in here. I'm sure that she made desserts in here. Hey, Randy, you should, Randy, wave hello. Definitely should wave hello. So this is a great mixing bowl, because at some point we're going to put in a pound of pasta into this bowl, and you're going to need a lot of room to mix it so that you don't break up the pasta and everything else. So it looks like it is boiling, and I'm going to go ahead over here. Let me show you. And I am going to salt the water really good because we don't salt until after it boils. That's it. And that is our Nanny Bubby tip for the day. And I'm just going to give that a mix. A couple of vegetables fell in there, but we're not going to worry about that. And we are going to set the timer. Hey Siri, let's see what she says. Set the timer for 6 minutes. Okay, 6 minutes. 6 minutes, she's all set. So, usually I name my timers. I'll say set the pasta timer and set the vegetable timer because I might have 2 or 3 different things in the oven going at different times. And if you tell Siri to call it vegetable timer or pasta timer, then you have all these different timers going at one time, but it will say pasta timer or vegetable timer or soup timer or whatever it is that you're cooking simultaneous at the same time so you don't get confused. I did that the other night. I was having a party and I set all these different timers, and when they started to go off, I couldn't remember which timer it was. Like, oh my gosh, is that the meatball timer or is that the, I don't know what else I was cooking, but I had 3 different timers going, but I didn't name them. So a little bit later in the night when I had some more timers going, I actually learned tonight to name them. So that is a Siri tip, if you will. Okay, so into this bowl, we're going to put the pasta, but we're also going to put some smoked mozzarella. Now look, I have gone around and around and around with this. Let me put this. I've gone to the end of the earth to find smoked mozzarella, and I'm here to tell you that it is not always the easiest thing. When you do find it, it comes in a brick. And when you do find it, you need to take that brick and you need to have it shredded, right? Shredded. The problem with mozzarella is that it's a soft cheese, and unless you actually freeze it, not necessarily almost frozen, but till it starts to get a little bit firm, it is very difficult to actually shred it. And so what ends up happening is that you get more on the blades than you actually get into the bowl of the food processor that you're shredding. So I thought, what can I do? How do I solve? I love solving a problem, and I don't like shredding mozzarella. And what I realized is that in my pantry, I actually have the world's best hickory smoked olive oil from Temecula Olive Oil Company. And so rather than suffering through shredding mozzarella, I once at Smith's found a brick of smoked mozzarella and took it to the cheese person there and said, hey, can you please shred this for me? And the answer was, no, we won't shred that, it's too soft. So I really, very frustrated over all that. So what I believe is the best course of action is to take about a tablespoon of this smoked mozzarella, sprinkling this on. Can you guys see that? Letting it kind of seep in. And the cheese, while it sits here for the next 5 or 6 or 7 or 8 minutes, is literally going to absorb all of this flavor of the smoked olive oil. And so I have myself a bowl, hey Lucy, a bowl of smoked mozzarella. And believe me, even a drizzle of this on top, while I'm tossing it, just really brings that flavor. So as you can see, none of this oil, let me make sort of a parting of the seas here. You can see that none of this oil is coming down to the bottom at all. It's completely dry, and that's because the cheese has absorbed the flavor, all of it, all of the oil. So now we have smoked mozzarella, right? So, and I love that smoky flavor, so I am adding maybe a tablespoon and a half or more. Yep, great. Thank you so much, Judy. It's like, I needed to solve that problem, and once I tasted this smoked olive oil, like, this was a game changer for me. Absolute game changer for me. So I think I brought that up one other time for when I made the crostinis. I put this on the mozzarella to make it smoked mozzarella. That also calls for smoked mozzarella. But, okay, these are still just a little bit hard. So we will hang in here together for just a minute. So this really becomes very easy. We're going to add peas at the end. These are already softened and cooked. Sometimes I have made the mistake of throwing in the frozen peas, and it really causes a problem. It really does. So what I'm going to do, grab this, 1, 2, okay. I rarely forget things, but you know, there's so much. Hey Lisa, nice to see you. So what I'm going to do is, I love Rayo's arrabbiata sauce, but they were all out, and I was on my way to Trader Joe's anyway, and my second favorite arrabbiata sauce, unless I make it myself, and sometimes, you know, just like with the chicken cacciatore, sometimes store-bought is truly okay. Why not? Why not? It shouldn't be a habit, but there are just some dishes where it just completely makes sense. So when I make my own arrabbiata sauce, I freeze it, but I'm out. So this dish is always better, not with marinara, but with arrabbiata. This is my go-to. So if it's not Rayo's, it's Trader Joe's. There you go. You guys can all find this at Trader Joe's. And we're going to mix the pasta and the smoked mozzarella and the peas. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Let's see. This is saying that it's done. Let me check this out. Let me see. We may have to go another. Yeah, these will still wait. Oh, maybe not. These are looking pretty good. Let me see. I'm running under cold water. I'm still here. I think maybe one more minute. They're just very crispy, but I don't want them to get too soft, because then they get really rubbery and just not so good. So, sorry about that, spam call. I can taste the salted water in them, which is amazing. I mean, I just think that when you put enough salt into your water to make it taste like the sea, then you know that you have the most perfect pasta. So I am going to step over here to the sink. You can see the colander and all the other things piled up over here. I'm making branzino for dinner for tonight. Again, I'm so excited about it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and we are going to just strain this pasta right to the colander. There we go. And we're just going to give it a little bit of a rinse to get the starch off. I'm not sure if that's really necessary, but my mom always did that. So there are some starchy water that you want to put into your, hey Mark Goldberg. Okay, so let me turn back around here. Okay. I'm going to trade places with everything here. So Mark says, are you going to the reunion? Mark, it was canceled. I just need to tell you that it was canceled. I just found it out myself. So I was going to go, and then I found out that I had made plans to go to a wedding in Sedona that same weekend as our reunion, which is not this Friday and Saturday, but next Friday and Saturday night. But because I made plans to go to that wedding, I wasn't going to cancel. So I was heartsick and heartbroken that I was going to miss our reunion. And then I got word from Jim Carter and checked with Donna Winard and everybody, and Mary Landers, and everybody did confirm that it was canceled due to COVID. And not really canceled, but postponed till next year. And I was jumping for joy because I did not want to miss it, honestly. So we have one more chance. God willing, we'll all be here next year, and it will be great. Okay, so whoa. So to your question, no, I'm not going, and neither are you. Okay, all right, here we go. So just taking my recipe out, we're going to put in the jars of arrabbiata sauce, and then the mozzarella. So let's wipe off the top and open this up. Give it a nice swift hit. There you go. Did you hear it pop? I love that. I love that when that happens. Okay, so So I find that when you have a larger mixing bowl, that you actually don't need to use as much sauce because it's so easy just to get it in and get it absorbed. So can you all see this? Lower that for all of you so that you can see. There we go. Okay, turning that off. And this way the pasta is not breaking up. Everything is awesome. Okay, so into this goes. This calls for, let me see how much mozzarella. I probably make too much. 1.5 cups grated mozzarella. But I like my pasta heavy. So we're going to put in a little bit more than 1.5 cups. So there's one. I think we can do 2. There we go. And as you can see, that olive oil, there is not a bit of olive oil at the bottom of this bowl, which means that it was all absorbed into the cheese. And honestly, I can smell it. It is just gorgeous, just beautiful. So here we go. I love what we've done with the pasta. We cooked it, I think, just perfectly. As it bakes, it will get softer, but it's still very firm. We're going to add these fresh peas because it makes you think, oh, it is really, really good. Liv is going to have some tomorrow because I pick her up on Thursday right after Channel 8. I go running across town. I said to everybody at Channel 8, listen, I have to be out of here because I really am Nanny Bubby and I have to pick up my granddaughter every Thursday at 4:30 and I can't be late. So they had me at the end of the show last week and I said, you cannot do that, remember? Because I had a conversation with them about it. And they forgot, and I said, look, if I was not really a Nanny Bubby, and Liv's Nanny Bubby, and Jack's Nanny Bubby, it wouldn't matter, but it does matter. So they moved me to the first 15 minutes of the show. And you know, talking to you about this, I really need to, peas smell so good, I really need to remind them. I just need to send an email that reminds them that I need to be in the first part of the show until we go back to Fridays. Okay. So that is it. Look at that. Look at that. Is that gorgeous? You can smell the smoked mozzarella and you can smell the peas, which are really, really fantastic. Well, Tom is not getting any of this, I have to tell you. This is all going to Channel 8 for tomorrow. This is, for those of you just joining us, I have to make it twice. So I'm making this. This is the one that's going to be baking, and then Rocky and I are going to make another one. And then she is going to take that home. And the cute thing is that she doesn't have a baking dish at home. So I'm giving her my 9x13 baking dish for her to have and to hold because I can't imagine anybody who doesn't have a 9x13 baking dish at home, right? Let's start there. Frank, I did miss you. Thanks for being here. See you now. Okay. All right. If you're ready, we're going to put it in here. Let me see, am I missing anything? I don't think so. So here we go, into the 9x13. Okay. So I got so many comments about yesterday about the salt and the sodium and the potassium and the iodine and how careful we need to be that the food industry does not dictate to us what should be contained within our food. I get very, very upset when talking about that. And so many of you left amazing comments, even personally to me, on DM and everything, and I absolutely love that. So, there, look at that. Can you see this? Let me move it all over. Here we go. So again, this is for tomorrow's show, and this is the one that I'm going to be putting in the oven to roast while I am making it. And then I will say, and thanks to the magic of television, we have one already ready to go in the oven. And this is going to be the one. So you are all here. So you didn't miss anything today. Tomorrow I'm doing the exact same pasta. And then, as I said, I'm going to give that to Rocky. Now, did you see that? Did you see that some of the Parmesan cheese was clumped together? Hold on, I need a fresh spoon. Okay, so deal, right? I did not need to put stabilizers in my Parmesan cheese. A little clumped together Parmesan cheese with a little swirl of a spoon. Like, why do we need stabilizers? Who sold us on the idea that we would not buy Parmesan cheese that was already grated if there were stabilizers, unless there were stabilizers, right? Yep, okay. So here we go, a few clumps. Whatever clumps come out, I'm gonna unclump them with my fingers because the chef's best tools are her hands, or his hands, since Frank is here. And there we go. Now, the key to this recipe, honestly, and I'm going to do this, and this may surprise all of you, because if we're not spreading love like butter and spreading butter like love, really, who are we all? Butter is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful ingredient, and there's lots of controversy about how healthy or unhealthy it is. I say stop eating sugar and start eating butter, and you'll get a lot healthier. But check with your doctor. Okay, ready? So I'm going to take this butter, and we're going to cut it. This is the butter that I use to butter the bottom of the dish. Careful my fingers here. And I'm just going to put a few of these pieces of butter along the top. There we go. I know that looks scary to all of you, but it's not as scary as you think. Okay, there we go. And 1 and 2. I'm just going so gently because the butter is soft, so I don't have to worry about my fingers. If my husband were watching, he would be freaking out right now. But I know he's not watching because he's in a meeting. So he would literally come home and yell at me because it scares him. Every time I use a knife, it scares him. Oh my gosh, I can make funny jokes about that. Okay, so here we go. Just enough, because when this comes out, number one, there's a brownness over the top of the Parmesan cheese. The pasta just, you know, okay. So here is a question that I have for you. Let me get a vote from all of you. I am thinking, do I want to take a pound of pasta and actually real butter? Yes, absolutely real butter. Real butter. As opposed to, yes, real butter. This happens to be unsalted butter, but it's still real, right? Every time you tell that story, I picture Tom upstairs with a first aid kit. Every time you tell that story, I picture Tom, you picture my Tom upstairs with a first aid kit. No, I know, thanks, Susie, or Lucy. Okay, so here is my question. I have a dilemma, and I'm trying to solve it. This is a in my head dilemma, but I am thinking that I should actually, look at this. Oh, it's very heavy also. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? So I'm also taking the roasted vegetables and I'm gonna roast them there because I love it when the studio has this amazing aroma and everybody starts coming in. They get so curious. And I really want the essence of what I'm doing to impact as many people as I can. And if I roast those vegetables at home and bring them in cold and you know, all of that, then, you know, nobody cares. And you say, well, nobody can smell it out in TV land. But the fact is that the energy of the people that come into the studio and say, oh, that smells so good, it just adds energy to me. And I really believe that it is, it really is better for the people at home because they can feel the energy from all of us in the studio. So yes, that's that. And then when they salivate, it throws joy within my soul. And then when that camera comes on, I have all this joyful soul right here in my solar plexus, and then I feel like I can emanate better to those at home. So Lisa, the butter is because it just melts down, it roasts down, it gets absorbed into the pasta, and it just adds a really, really fragrant taste and flavor. And it browns the top, it browns the Parmesan cheese that's under it, it loosens and it starts drizzling. It doesn't just go down, but it starts to shift right and shift left as it melts, and so that's why we're using it. So here's my dilemma. When it comes to cooking the pasta, am I going to cook this pasta at home first Yes, it is unsalted because there's a ton of salt in the pasta, and there is a ton of salt into the vegetables, and so I think there's enough salt. I don't need regular butter. I'm going to use the unsalted butter because I don't want to change the level of flavors. And Roseanne says, I always said grated Parmesan on top of the garlic butter when I make garlic bread. Parmesan cheese with the butter is so delicious. Oh my God. Spread butter like love, and spread love like butter, right? Okay, so here's my question. I need all of you to chime in. Give me advice. I'm asking you, my gatherers, for advice. Should I just go ahead and cook the pasta at home? But I'm so afraid when I get to the studio that it's going to stick together. You have to cover it, otherwise it gets hardened, right? I'll let it cool and then I'll cover it, and then I will loosen it up with a little olive oil. But I really think that actually cooking it there, I just am not feeling too good about it. So you cook first and finish in hot water there. I'll add a touch of olive oil to keep it from sticking. Okay, I think I'm up with that. That's what I was gonna do. I'm gonna cook it here. Lisa says, cook the pasta at the studio. Oh! But start early so it only needs a minute. Well, here's the problem, Lisa. So I got one Lucy, one for Lisa. And the problem is, one of the times that I really needed to cook in the studio and I got there, they wouldn't let me in the studio. They would not let me in the studio. They had some confusion going on and they had other people in the studio and I could not get in. I literally had to stand in the hallway and I had to make it in the hallway, and I think somebody brought a burner out for me that they had somewhere, and I utilized that. So, okay. So I think, and Lisa's changed horses, gone on to the other side. So I think that's basically what I'm gonna do. I'm actually, I think, gonna take it in this bowl. I'll cover it with saran after, live TV. Haven't we all been there, right? With live TV, sometimes it gets a little crazy. But I think I'm gonna just cook the pasta. I'll cook everything else there, but I'm just so afraid to take a chance, and then I'll have to fake using actual hard pasta out of the bag, or that it's not done. But I've got 5 minutes. It starts at 3:13 and 30 seconds, and I have to be done by 3:18 and 30 seconds, or they may not have me back. God forbid, I enjoy it so much. So Judy says, cook at home and finish in hot water and olive oil. Bring the pasta water to studio. Oh, well, there is a thought. That's a good idea. Okay. All right. Well, let's see what time it is. It's 3:36. Believe it or not, I have to make branzino for dinner. I'm making the branzino. Thank you, Lucy. You can find me on 8newsnow.com. It'll be streaming. Look for LV Now. I think 8 News Now, LV Now. They're streaming at 3 o'clock. It's now gone to an hour show. So you can watch me live tomorrow. You're going to actually watch me making this thing, and you're going to watch Rocky taste this. But I'm taking this one back home, and she will have her own to take home. I'm going to talk to her about, let me show you what I'm going to talk to her about. So I am ending the show on, she said to me when I said, do you have a baking dish you can bring in on Thursday so I can fill it and you can take this pasta home and bake it for maybe a Friday night dinner, whatever you'd like. And she said, no, but could I bring in one of those aluminum baking dishes? And I said, no, you cannot. You cannot let aluminum touch your food, especially with tomato sauce. She was like, oh, okay. So here's the last tip I'm going to give her. There is nothing better than aluminum foil to seal, and if you're roasting meats, if you seal with aluminum foil and you keep it airtight with aluminum foil, nothing gives a better seal than aluminum foil. But you can never let aluminum touch your food. Talk about heavy metals in our body. Aluminum foil is one of those heavy metals that the tree huggers and the organic lovers, of which I am, by the way, I'm a tree hugger, to which, I don't know how that happened either, because I never saw myself as that, but I am now. But anyway, this is what they want to detox from your body, aluminums and coppers and all that other stuff. But, so the best thing to do is we are going to take a piece of parchment. We're going to cut it off just like that. We are going to lay it down over the top of this, and then we're going to take the finest sealer on the top, which is, in fact, aluminum foil. And now you can put this in the refrigerator. You can put this, you can freeze it like this if you'd like. Yes, because then you no longer cook on aluminum. I love that, Lucy. Thank you. And if you do, well, don't cook in it, but just remember to line the parchment first. And Roseanne said, where do you buy that parchment paper? Love the cutter on the back. So, oh, my God, Roseanne, you must have missed that show. This, I actually did a whole show on this roll of parchment paper. So I'm surprised you missed it, Roseanne, but here you go. This is an Amazon product. I went looking for pop-up parchment paper, which I used to swear by. Pop-up parchment paper for everything. And I thought it was easy, but this, you know, I love that Kirkland saran wrap that has this cutter just like this on it. And sure enough, I found this huge roll. There's how many square feet here? Let's see how much square feet. 164 square feet. 164 square feet of parchment here. And it's got this fabulous little cutter. And I mean, it's fantastic. So, yes, you did. So I will post this and gather for all of you for sure. Yes, order it today. So let me, here, take a screenshot of this. There you go. Okay, it's called Delicacia Kitchen Parchment. See that, guys? Delicacia. Delicacia. And if somebody finds it, go ahead and post it and gather for everybody to see, because I'm not going to get to it. Brenda's not here to help me, and I have to make dinner before I leave for a 5:30 appointment. So, there you go, everybody. There you go. Yes, you're going to love it. Order 2. If you use parchment paper as much as I do, you're going to go through it quickly. So that's it, everybody. Love y'all so much. Today was a fun show. I'm feeling my groove back again. I think I'm loving the anniversary idea. It makes me love all of you. I'm just going to read this one more time. Okay. Post your favorite Nanny Bubby recipe, tip, or guest interview and why it is your favorite. Right? So you go, you can share back and gather and post that. Number 2, if you include a photo or photos with your entry, photos should be of a Nanny Bubby recipe you've made, a Nanny Bubby tip you've used, or something you've made based on a guest. And you get 2 entries for all of that. Everybody should enter. You can win the, oh, what did I do with it? I am definitely, yesterday I said I'm giving one of these away to one of those people who are posting, so this wasn't supposed to be part of the contest. I'm also going to give a tomato slicer away because everybody loves a tomato slicer. So if you want a tomato slicer, and you get to do a Zoom class with 25 gatherers, so you get to bring a guest, invite a guest to join our Zoom class. We'll run the Zoom class live on Nanny Bubby, maybe in Gather. I'm not sure how that's going to work yet, but we'll figure it out. We have to wait for Tanya to get back from her honeymoon because she was one of the first week winners, and she won't be back from her honeymoon until November 9th. But it is perfect because our Zoom class can be Thanksgiving Zoom. So sounds good to me. All right, everybody, that's it for me. Arlene, Frank, Lisa, Roseanne, Judy, Lucy, Susie, who else? I'm going back. Arlene, did I say Arlene? Lisa, Roseanne, somebody's name I can't pronounce, but thank you for being here anyway. And I guess that's it for today. All right, everybody, love you so much. Remember, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, go out and buy parchment paper and spread love like butter. Bye, everybody.